Welcome to Dice Control Dojo. I'm Phil, and I practice every day and share my tips so we can all get better at the craps table. Today we're talking about the swing, our throw practice final phase of our throw, the swing. So what does that consist of? We're going to talk about major muscle groups. We're going to talk about how to relax your arm. We're going to talk about your fingers on making sure they're not doing any of the work and your wrist isn't doing any of the work. This is all staying frozen yet relaxed. And the last thing is talking about this thumb, making sure that the thumb is facing where you want it to go each and every time. These are the final steps. So when we're talking about the throw, we're talking about the grip, right? Making sure we're picking it up and the fingers are set correctly. Then we're talking about the turn. We're talking about how this needs to be relaxed so that the weight of the dice are falling on your fingers. Your fingers are tight together. I use my pinky to get it together. And my thumb is relaxed. Then we're talking about alignment, right? You're going to make sure that this is nice and aligned. Now on the swing, in my coach's advice, we're doing a small backswing, okay? Just a little bit, just to get your major muscles. So if you're looking at my arm for the swing, we just want to kind of do a little backswing, just a couple inches back on the throw for the follow through. And why we do that is where we're trying to release the major muscles. I'm not doing my wrist. My fingers are nice and relaxed. I form a nice little circle here so that everything is aligned, right? My head, my body, everything's aligned. My last thing is I want to make sure this arm is straight down. I use this mirror down here to make sure that my arm is releasing straight, that my thumb is facing where it needs to be. Now, what you want to do when you're set, you're going to pick your target, right? So once I'm set, and this is all within a millisecond, right? Because you're going to be doing the swing down. I'm going to look at my target. I'm relaxing my fingers, and then I'm releasing with a very little backswing and a follow through. When you're practicing this area right here, your arms and your wrists need to be nice and relaxed. So when you do the backswing, it's your shoulder, arms, muscles that are moving, okay? If we go back to our putting is not about moving your wrists or your fingers. You don't move your fingers back like this or your wrists. It's all upper strength, right? It's all your shoulders, your major muscle groups. So that's what you're trying to do on this. You want to eliminate all the possibilities of any of this stuff moving. On Sunday, during our craps cruise session, my buddy kept flicking his wrist. He had a flick. He created a flick. So when you're practicing every day, sometimes you develop bad habits. That's why we talk about feedback and mentoring. I noticed it on the Zoom meeting, and I'm like, hey, buddy, you're flicking. Don't flick. Just be nice and relaxed. So I have a nice relaxed. My thumb is relaxed. I'm centered. Remember, my wrists and my fingers are not going to move. At this point, they're frozen on here, and then you want to relax as much as possible. That's my major problem, is trying to relax. So I need to make sure when I release, right, my thumb is straight, it's facing that way, it's coming across, I released, but nothing's moving in my fingers. My fingers remain the same, all right? It's the centrifugal force that's releasing the dice. I am just using momentum to release the dice, not my fingers. That's where our major problem comes when we're doing a lot of throws, is that when we when we go to throw, we're either pushing with our thumb, and I do it a lot, so don't think it doesn't happen to everybody. You push your thumb, your fingers release like this, your thumb releases like this, or your thumb goes back. In all of those throws, you almost upcoming videos when we dissect the problems or the issues with bad throws, that's one of them. If you're releasing. Now I want to just relax, let my momentum of my large muscles move. So I'm lining up and I'm throwing, and I want that thumb to be facing where I want to point, and hopefully this circle remains the same the whole way through the dice throw. This is very important. The grip, the relaxation of the grip, right? The turn, the straightness. But when you're going to go release, there's a lot of function here all at once, and it takes a lot of practice. Ironically, today, one of my biggest problems from yesterday was my swing. I was not releasing right, and I think my thumb was coming off. So this morning, when I was practicing, this morning it was all about the thumb. So I just concentrated hard to make sure that I was pointing my thumb in the right direction. It wasn't releasing. It was just staying right where it was. And look at a nice settled down throw. It took a lot of throws, but I was realizing that I have to try and relax and not push the dice off of my fingers. Just let the energy from your large muscle mass release like that. See, my fingers are pointing out, right? Hopefully this is staying the same, and that's how you're going to release this. So when you're practicing this each and every day, you want to make sure. I like to grab some mirrors. You can use your video. You can take videos of yourself in slow motion and then release it in a bunch of them, and then go back and look at it at what you're doing, just so you make sure that you're releasing right and that your arm is releasing. You could put a video here so you could look at it this way. I like the mirrors coming this way, and then I have a mirror straight on this way. So when I'm setting up and I'm looking, do I have my little circle? Am I relaxing? And am I just releasing my arm? Your entire body should be not moving. It should just be a shoulder muscle that's releasing these dice. It should not be anything else but your shoulders. So we're going to talk about the angles on how to release. We're going to talk about your landing zones. These are all upcoming videos, but today we're talking just about the swing. And a lot of my practice is making sure my swing is right, my fingers are right, and my thumb is right. It is so important for practicing the swing that you have feedback on that, and because sometimes you can get off tangent and you can't figure out what's going on. So getting back to feedback, take some video of yourself, have it this way, have the camera going this way, maybe have a camera coming back at you like this way. That way you can look at the video and see if you're throwing it the right way. I like the mirrors because I can see how I'm throwing, but I have cameras all over the place that I can record that to see if I am doing well. I have one above me too that looks down, so I can see my throw from going down. So I have a lot of different angles to try and see if I can throw correctly. So let's review. When we're doing the throw practice for the swing, it's major muscles, okay? We're going to make sure that this area here, once it's set with the dice, it is not moving, okay? We're going to create our little circle here like that, and it doesn't move again, the wrist and the arm. That's relaxed, and Now you're going to make sure that your thumb is pointed the right direction. If it's off like this or off like this, the dice are going to go all over the place. And then you're going to make sure you're practicing that every day through feedback, video, or coaching. So join me tomorrow where we're talking about the placement, all right, where we're going to do a landing zones. I'm going to talk about my practice with the sharpshooting. So that's tomorrow. Until then, remember, the best betting strategy is to throw for a long, long time.